Hello NBA fans, every day we have news about the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm a Lakers fan and I'm counting on you to subscribe to the channel and leave your. Of course, Giannis Antetokounmpo is the desire of virtually every NBA team, but the Lakers are preparing to bring in a superstar to pair with Luka Doncic, and that could be Giannis Antetokounmpo. But for any deal to be made for a superstar, the Lakers will need to give up Austin Reaves, who has declined a contract extension. Sending Austin Reaves, Dalton Netsch, 2 first-round picks, a second-round pick, and one more player to the Milwaukee Bucks could be enough to convince the rival to trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo. And this would give the Lakers the best duo in the NBA, Luka Doncic and Giannis Antetokounmpo, by 2026. This trade will have to be made before Austin Reaves enters free agency, that is, if Giannis Antetokounmpo requests a trade and wants to come to the Lakers. Austin Reaves has been vocal about his desire to remain a Los Angeles Laker for life. But in the NBA, loyalties can be tested quickly, especially when a generational superstar like Giannis Antetokounmpo could suddenly hit the trade market. According to Anthony Irwin of Clutch Points, if the Milwaukee Bucks and Lakers ever engage in trade talks centered on the two-time MVP, Reaves' name would almost certainly be among the first requested. The undrafted guard has become a fan favorite in Los Angeles, but his rising value may also make him one of the Lakers' most attractive trade chips. It's almost a surefire thing that if the Lakers and the Bucks get into trade negotiations for Giannis, the first name in terms of players that Milwaukee is going to ask about is Reaves, Irwin said on the Lakers Lounge podcast. And then it's like, well, do you want Giannis or do you want to try to keep Reaves here? A breakout star with an uncertain future. Reaves turned down a 4-year, $89.2 million offer from the Lakers earlier this offseason, choosing instead to bet on himself in free agency next summer. If he declines his $14.9 million player option for the 2026-27 season, the 26-year-old will become an unrestricted free agent in 2026. NBA insider Jovan Buha recently predicted that Reaves could command a deal in the range of 4 years and $120 plus million, a massive leap for a player who entered the league undrafted just 4 years ago. His combination of efficient scoring, playmaking, and toughness has elevated him into one of the Lakers' most reliable options behind LeBron James and Anthony Davis and later on, Luka Doncic. But with LeBron entering the twilight of his career, the Lakers front office has its eyes on a bigger long-term picture. Both Antetokounmpo and Doncic are viewed as potential franchise cornerstones for a post-LeBron era in Los Angeles. Giannis, the trade market, and the Lakers' dilemma. Antetokounmpo remains under contract with Milwaukee through the 2027-28 season, but he holds a $62.8 million player option on the final year that could allow him to enter unrestricted free agency. If the Bucks stumble again in the postseason, league insiders believe the Greek Freak could eventually seek a new situation. If that happens, Reaves could become a prime candidate in a potential sign-and-trade package. His next contract would make him easier to use for salary-matching purposes, while his skill set and age profile would fit well on a retooling Bucks roster. Reaves is the guy that team would probably ask for, Reaves explained. He is going to be making enough money by way of his next contract to make contract matching that much easier if it comes to that. The Lakers, however, don't possess many trade assets. Aside from Reaves, they hold only one tradable first-round pick, 2031 or 2032, and a second-rounder in 2032. Their most significant financial flexibility lies in expiring deals, including LeBron's $52.6 million option. Next summer, the Lakers can gain access to an additional first-rounder. The bigger picture. Other contenders, the Golden State Warriors, Miami Heat, New York Knicks, San Antonio Spurs and Los Angeles Clippers, are also expected to pursue Antetokounmpo if he forces his way out of Milwaukee. The Lakers' chances may hinge on whether Giannis makes it clear he would only commit long-term in Los Angeles. Team president Rob Pelinka has acknowledged that the Lakers' cap strategy has been designed with future flexibility in mind, whether to land a star like Antetokounmpo or even Nikola Jokic, who could both reach free agency in 2027 or keep their options open. Lakers coach shares optimism about LeBron James and Luka Doncic duo ahead of season. The Los Angeles Lakers fell short last season. LA was bounced in 5 games against the much younger and athletic Minnesota Timberwolves. The Lakers finished as the number 3 seed in the loaded Western Conference, and the expectations were sky high for them entering the playoffs, and how could they not be? The Lakers were led by Luka Doncic and LeBron James. The two had established themselves as a prominent duo in the league, although they had only played a little over 20 games together. Although the two won more than they lost together, it was clear that they left a ton of meat on the bone last season. James and Doncic had very little time to get right together, and that was evident when the playoffs rolled around. However, that should all change this season as they have had a lot of time to get to know each other and build chemistry, at least that is the hope. If you ask Lakers assistant coach Greg St. Jean, he thinks that with a full preseason and training camp ahead for Doncic and James, their relationship will only strengthen on the court. The idea of Luka having an opportunity to play in training camp with us is going to be critical, and getting this team to build their chemistry and work together. This season, we're poised and excited to have a training camp together, St. Jean said. LeBron and Luka being able to spend more time together, we think, will be really positive for both of them and obviously our team. In 23 games last season, James and Doncic went 15-8. In those games, the Lakers averaged 116.1 points per game and allowed 114.1 points per game per 100 possessions. The Lakers star duo is an elite one on paper, but they have yet to show that when it matters most. With ample time to prepare and game plan together, this duo should not only win a ton of games, but establish itself as one of the best duos in the league. James will turn 41 this season, while Doncic won't turn 27 until more than halfway through the season. It's clear that Doncic is the present and future of the team. Nonetheless, if these two are on the same page, the Lakers could be one of the top teams in the Western Conference once again. Lakers fans can only say this absolutely about LeBron James' future. The Los Angeles Lakers superstar will hit free agency next summer and chase a championship one more time. Will he stay or will he go? That is the question on the minds of Los Angeles Lakers fans regarding LeBron James and his future in Hollywood. There is only one certainty, and that was outlined plainly by ESPN's Bobby Marks in a recent write-up. Marks wrote, "The only guarantee is that James will be an unrestricted free agent next summer, and if he does play an unprecedented 24th season, it will likely be with a team that can win a championship." The ESPN insider reminded everyone that 2025-26 will be the first time in James' long career that the future Hall of Famer will not be under contract, to some capacity, for the following season. LeBron has previously operated with either a guaranteed deal, player option, or extension eligibility. Marks then referred back to the infamous Rich Paul statement that was made to Shams Charania after James picked up his player option for the 2025-26 NBA season. While LeBron carefully weighs his future next summer, the Lakers will take their time to do the same. LeBron James' future will be dictated by Lakers' upcoming season. If James were to be seriously considering retirement after the end of the upcoming season, it would be likely that everyone would have heard about it by now. It does not fit the style of the four-time champion to just disappear without some fanfare. The most probable of circumstances would be the Lakers and James getting to the summer of 2026 with their union temporarily broken. That does not mean that will be the final chapter for both sides working together. Rob Pelinka has prioritized his optionality in building around Luka Doncic. However, if the July 2026 comes and James is still the best piece on the board that can be paired with Doncic, there is no sense in splitting up just yet from the Lakers' perspective. At that point, it becomes a matter of whether Los Angeles still makes sense for LeBron. Doncic was of the impression that the Lakers have enough to compete for a championship this season. Everything coming out of James' camp during this summer makes him sound less convinced of that idea. If James sees a greener pasture, at this late stage of his career, and has a better opportunity to chase a ring before retirement, can anyone really blame him for leaving? The best way of continuing this partnership for all sides would be winning. A promising run in the 2026 NBA playoffs would make this conversation a brief one when next summer comes. Unlike the film industry in Hollywood, the less drama here, the better. Lakers' recent draft pick is running out of time to fulfill promise. Los Angeles will look bad if the young guard cannot figure things out this season. The 2025-26 season is going to be an important one for the Los Angeles Lakers for several reasons. Beyond the franchise's continued push for an 18th NBA championship, the Lakers are bridging the gap between two eras as LeBron James' time with the purple and gold appears to be coming to an end sooner rather than later. This will lead to the full launch of the Luka Doncic era in Southern California after the guard agreed to a multi-year extension with the Lakers, making him the new face of the franchise. Rob Pelinka has already begun making roster moves that will amplify what Doncic is ultimately able to add to the franchise. What happens with LeBron and Luka moving forward is not the only storyline worth following once the 2025-26 campaign tips off, however. There is the matter of what happens with LeBron James Jr. once this coming season wraps up. Regardless of what happens with his father, this will be a topic of conversation next offseason as Bronny's contract for the 2026-27 season becomes guaranteed on June 29, 2026. Lakers' Bronny James running out of time to fulfill promise in LA. Everyone knew that the Lakers were going to use their second-round pick in the 2024 NBA draft on the oldest son of superstar forward LeBron James. It was the worst-kept secret in sports. Almost immediately, despite the medical issues that clearly stunted his growth as a player in his lone season with the University of Southern California Trojans, there were comments that Bronny's selection had nothing to do with his father and everything to do with his tools as a prospect. Given his status as a McDonald's All-American, this wasn't an outlandish position to take, even if his limited time at the NCAA level didn't necessarily back that train of thought up. Perhaps predictably, James Jr. struggled during his rookie season in his 27 appearances with the Lakers. The guard averaged 2.3 points per game while shooting 31.3% from the field, 28.1% from beyond the arc, and 78.6% from the charity stripe. It is important to note that he was far more effective in his 11 appearances with the South Bay Lakers of the G League. The promise that fans who watched him as a prep player were familiar with showed in those games, and the numbers backed that up. Bronny averaged 21.9 points, 5.4 assists, 5.2 rebounds, and 1.9 steals in 34.2 minutes per game while shooting 44% from the field and 38% from beyond the arc. For all the talk that went into selling the Bronny James pick on fans and media members, it would be to his benefit to take the next step in his second season as an NBA player. It remains to be seen just what his role will be on the 2025-26 version of the Lakers, but Los Angeles would love for it to be something closer to the player fans saw in South Bay this past season. Also, if his father is no longer on the purple and gold following the 2025-26 campaign, there is much less of a guarantee that Bronny will remain. This is why the 20-year-old must prove he is adding to his game and becoming the best version of himself, as we saw during Summer League play in July. Luka Doncic needs one of three things to keep pace with his generation of superstars. Only an MVP, NBA Finals MVP, or NBA championship will keep the Los Angeles Lakers superstar from being lost in the shuffle. Superstars like Luka Doncic can define an entire generation. However, the Los Angeles Lakers point guard is losing pace among his peers without an MVP, NBA championship, or NBA Finals MVP to show for his incredible individual efforts to start his career. What do Nikola Jokic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Joel Embiid, and Jason Tatum all have in common? For one, they are all Doncic's peers in this current generation of NBA superstars. The second thing is they all possess one of those major NBA accolades. JXMY Highroller pointed this out in a recent video on his YouTube channel. Jokic, Antetokounmpo, and Gilgeous-Alexander each tick all three of the boxes above. Tatum has a championship. Embiid has an MVP. Doncic has none of those. Almost without exception, every all-time great modern player stamped their legacy with at least one of these benchmark achievements that separate great players from all-time great players by the end of their 8th season in the league, the YouTuber said. Most of them with many of these awards. Luka Doncic still needs to prove he belongs with his generation's best. No one will deny Doncic is one of the best players in the league. The Lakers superstar got an early start to joining the upper tier of superstars by his second season, indicated by the All-NBA first-team selection in his sophomore campaign during the 2019-20 season. Doncic has racked up 4 more of those since. That alone puts him in some rare company already. Doncic is tied for 22nd among players in NBA history for the most All-NBA first-team honors. That is a special achievement for someone about to enter his 8th season in the league, but it is still not one of the 3 prestigious trophies listed above. The closest Doncic came to joining that club was the 2023-24 NBA season. The former Dallas Mavericks superstar was firmly in the MVP race, finishing 3rd behind Jokic and Gilgeous-Alexander. Luka also came up 3 wins short of his first championship, and a possible NBA Finals MVP. The key aspect working in Doncic's favor right now is age. The Slovenian superstar is the youngest among his peers listed above, and even entered alongside Gilgeous-Alexander at the latest mark of any of those transcendent talents. However, even in that sense, the Oklahoma City Thunder superstar just lapped him in one season by winning all 3 of those trophies. The conversations about the best player of the 2018 NBA draft quickly shifted in the process. The clearest path Doncic would have to any of the 3 achievements would be the MVP award. The Lakers superstar point guard already has the narrative working in his favor before the 2025-26 even arrives. The media will be eager to crown him as a first-time MVP winner next season after a strong revenge story and a body transformation that continues to dominate off-season conversations. However, Doncic will need to do his part, ensuring this generation does not leave him behind.